Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing a modern marvel that draws on historical lore. It's the Vacheron Constantin Historiques American 1921, a watch that, perhaps more than any other, has qualities of a design icon within the Vacheron catalog. AP has its Royal Oaks, Patek has its Calatravas and Nautilus. Vacheron, best known for finishing and elegance, doesn't have a specific shape that is instantly recognizable with the brand, with the exception of this. You can see and you can purchase this icon on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full selection of Vacheron Constantin watches, including this one with additional pricing information, high resolution images for your desktop, and all accessories included in the sale. Now, on my wrist, this watch is 40mm by 40mm cushion cased and profiled to pay homage not to one watch from 1921, but from 1919 and 1921. Now, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of which watch contributed what to the model you see here. Just know that it's firmly rooted in Vacheron history, and having been around since 2008, this has become something of the standard bearer for the brand. Iterated a few times in different metals and sizes, it's this original model in 5N rose gold that truly shines, figuratively and literally. You can see on my 16cm circumference wrist, the watch is 40mm across and 40mm tall. 8.3mm thick, it slides underneath any cuff, and yes, it's exactly as thin as that other design icon from a Big 3 brand, the Royal Oak Ultra Thin. You'll also note that the watch has a relatively compact lug to lug dimension, as the addition of the stub lugs only increases the span to 46mm across the wrist. You could wear this watch, in my opinion, on a wrist as small as 13.5cm in circumference, with a handsome proportion in physical security. Now, because the case is rather broad, there is a fair amount of 5N red gold here, so it has a hefty feel on the wrist, that what you would expect of a precious metal watch. It feels as good as it looks, and of course, because of the regular and flat shape of the case back, no pressure points or hot spots. You'll note that the strap is a handsome monotone stitch, rectangular scale alligator leather with a slight sheer profile rather than a classic folded edge, and on the underside supple calfskin. A simple Vacheron Constantin Maltese cross motif pin buckle allows easy adjustability on the fly and maintains the low historic profile of a classic pin buckle. The case is simple but handsome. As you can see, there are just a few creases and character lines to give it definition, but it does have clear borders, boundaries, and just enough of a creased quality to avoid an excessively feminine profile. It's not all curvaceous. You can see there are a few sharp character lines that give it an element of masculinity and harden the overall profile. You can also see that the lugs truly are spare and minimalist, designed almost to evoke the early pocket watch conversions from the period that spawned this timepiece, or at least the predecessor of this timepiece. Now, the timepiece in my hand is all contemporary in fit, finish, and size. Although 40mm by 40mm may not sound large, it does have a standout wrist presence. That's as much a function of the dial as the case. We spoke about the case, but let's talk about the dial. Now, you can see outermost there is a railroad-style minutes track. Inboard, highly stylized 1920s fashion Breguet Arabic numerals, and you'll also note matching Breguet hands, blackened, oxidized gold, and there is a sunken sub-seconds register between 2 and 4. It actually takes the place of the numeral 3. You'll note how it has its own separate miniature railroad track for the baton-style seconds indicator. Now, the Maltese cross at 12 o'clock is applied and polished. The dial itself, although you can't quite see it to advantage in the video, does have a granular, pebbly quality to it. So it has a gentle grained or opaline finish that is absolutely gorgeous. It's not a straight metallic silver, rather it's an off-white with shades of eggshell, silver, and even a little bit of rose gold to it. And maybe some of that's the reflection of the bezel, but the watch has distinctly more color than a typical silver opaline dial. It must be seen in person to fully appreciate. Now you can see through the case back, this is Vacheron Constantin caliber 4400, 21 joules, manual winding. It has a 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate. It bears the Geneva hallmark, the ultimate imprimatur of finishing quality and standards, and it has a superb 65-hour power reserve when fully wound. Now every manual winding caliber should be a pleasure to wind, and I'm happy to say that this watch has exactly that quality about it. It's not too crisp, it isn't too creamy, there's just enough of a detent to the click and the click spring that you can feel and enjoy the interaction with the movement. It's not a dead crown, it's not a dead stem. It does give you a little bit of tactile feedback. Now the watch is slim in profile, 8.3 millimeters, and a large reason for that is it has a slim caliber, but a great deal is packed into that slim profile. As you can see, immaculate, perfectly aligned Côte de Genève across the bridges, richly textured too. This is not the stamped variety. All of the jewel countersinks, as well as the edge to every bridge, feature a mirrored rounded finish executed by hand. Again, this is all the finest hand craftsmanship that Geneva can provide. Nothing here is stamped or machined crudely. If you've seen Geneva waves, if you've seen anglage, you need to look again because this sets the standard. Now, of course, you'll note as I turn it towards the camera, certain elements effectively turn black because the screw heads, as well as a number of select metal surfaces, are black polished, the highest standard of optical finish. It ensures that the watch effectively reflects light only in one direction from those polished surfaces. Now from this angle, you can see to good effect the rounded edges of those bridges and how they are mirror finished to an optically smooth quality. Finally, there is an engine turning on the base plate, and the execution of the individual wheels with chamfered spokes is peerless. Not only are the screw heads polished, but their slots themselves are chamfered. Executed on the highest level, this watch sweats the details, but it is the shape, the iconic shape, that truly defines it. Perhaps Vacheron Constantin's one design icon. This effectively is their Calatrava, their Reverso. This is their Royal Oak. You can see and you can own this latter-day icon that draws upon history on our website.